everyone, welcome to Tactica Imperialis and to today's video. Today is episode 58 of Adeptus Podcastus. And joining me as always is Remleiz from 40k Theories.
Hello everyone.
And our guest this week, as you can see from the lovely artwork, is ZoranTheBear.
I should have waited till like a couple more episodes so I could be on 60 so it's even like that.
I mean, you know, showed 50, so...
But now I'm on the 58, so now I feel inferior to the 60s.
Well, sorry, I guess.
You did this to me!
Don't worry, Soren. You've always got the chance to come back for the 100 episodes Ian Watson Appreciation Spectacular, where we get everyone
I missed
back
your
in.
last whole spectacular thing, and I felt bad, but I had to work.
These things happen.
No. But you have picked a good episode because we're recording this a day behind our usual schedule, which means we get to talk about the Vigilus Weekender.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, where do we start?
Probably with the headline, which is Primaris Calgar.
Oh yes, the actual confirmation now that regular Marines can upgrade.
Yeah, I take no credit for that pun, by the way. I give that credit to Kirioth. But yes.
It's a good pun.
It is. It's actually interesting. If you listen to, or if you saw the trailers in the run-up to the reveal, and then the reveal trailer, I think Calgar died.
Was that the big I Am Spartacus trailer?
That one, and also the preemptive trailers, like the Courage and Honor trailer and all of that. Because there were two trailers, one before the event and one at the time of the reveal.
Yeah, to be honest, that first trailer, I honestly thought it was going to be something like, oh, we're getting Codex Ultramarines, are we?
I mean, my Discord was like, Calgar Dreadnought. That was what my server defaulted to.
I really like his model, though. Like, it's really...
Oh, it's very
the
nice.
pose and everything else.
It's basically his old Artificer model, just in Primaris armor, and also molded better because it's new. But yeah, very nice.
The one thing I've always you pointed out is like normal Space Marines can upgrade, and I can understand someone's probably like in fear of going like, oh no, my old Space Marine models will eventually get weeded out. It's going to be nothing but Primaris. This is garbage, and I hate this entirely. And I'm thinking, like, if Games Workshop wanted to go that route, they can go, oh yeah, all your Space Marines are just slowly but surely upgrading in 9th edition, so everyone's Primaris. Why wouldn't you? You know, like, that's one thing. It's probably gonna, like, I would bet money that they would do that for, like, the next edition of it going, like, here, everyone's now Primaris because all your Space Marines actually upgraded because they thought this is better.
To be fair, I'm surprised it's taken this long. I thought we were going to get this almost as soon as 8th came out to give Primaris a character right off the bat.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I guess they're testing the waters a little bit with them first, because you don't want to just completely change tried and true tradition of what people have always loved so far.
I mean, they picked the biggest Space Marine character, arguably, to do it too, so there's testing the water, and there's going off the bloody deep end.
Sorry, I thought you meant, like, just Primaris in general, but for this guy, it's like, I don't know what people's reactions will be to this. I think he looks really cool, and I'm happy for him. I'm like, hell yeah, I want this. I even made, like, my own little squat conversion of him in case I want to play Ultramarines. So I have a dwarf version of him, with 2 power fists. So I really just want to put it side by side by somebody's going, yeah, mine does the same damage as you.
Yeah, they also, I got some images that someone took at the Weekender, which is of his honor guard. I've just popped them where you can see them.
Oh, that is really amazing looking. I love the cape and everything.
Yeah, they're like old Legion Breacher shields. They're great.
Oh, I love shields, man. Like, that's... When I first saw, like, a lot of the 40k stuff in terms of, like, what you can do, I think Horus Heresy really brought that thing of, like, breacher shields. Like, you go from ship to ship with, like, I have a shield and a bolter. Now I'm going to shoot you. I love that combo so much. I thought I could make an entire army of that. And a lot of people are like, nah, that doesn't really exist. That's always a bad idea. But I'm like, but that's so cool, though. Just to have, like, a riot shield and a freaking, like, assault rifle that shoots rockets in people's faces. And then I played Spaceful, so everything's an invuln save with storm shields.
Yeah.
Also, if nothing
Someone
else,
has
this
to.
new Primaris upgrade for characters means we might actually get some new models for, characters who fucking need them, i.e. Dante, Ragnar, Azrael, Mephiston.
Yeah. Like within 2 hours of Primarius reveal, we were all tweeted by someone saying, Ragnar, please.
All new Primarchs become Primaris.
Can we have Dante next?
I mean, we can. If you
Primaris
hold hard
Dante
enough.
would be
Christmas
cool.
is coming.
Yeah, I just want to backtrack to the point that the implication, and we may get this confirmed in the time between us recording this and you watching this. I think Calgar died to do this.
Are you going just by videos, or there's something written going like he has sacrificed himself to become a new...
The trailer says that he crossed the veil of death, and it says, I am Marnius Calgar and I am reborn. And it talks about this thing called the Rubicon Primaris that allowed him to upgrade. So, I don't know.
I would argue that he just like almost died during the operation, like it's very intensive.
I'm just more curious about if he's been he was basically killed and then basically got resurrected as a Primaris, or allegedly, going by the speculation. Does that mean all of his limbs are still bionic, or has he grown them back?
Could be an Armour of Fate situation.
It's like, I have grown all my limbs back. Was but a scratch, now I'm back and better than ever before. I don't know.
When it comes to the question, though, where obviously, I think in Chapter Approve is going to have his rules, right?
No, I believe there's a campaign book coming called Vigilus Defiant that will have it.
Oh, I hate that.
That's coming out next month
new
anyway,
model
so.
and get a whole book for a page.
You also get rules for that new Chaos Lord. Let's talk about that new bloody Chaos Lord.
Oh, the raptor with a big spear.
Okay, disclaimer. I like the Lightning Claw one from like 10 years ago better. But it's still cool.
I like looking at the preview model that they have. I think they messed up on his spear and it's a little curved.
Have a look.
No, you feel like at the spear point, it doesn't look lined up. If you go for like the line that they did for their highlight, it doesn't look lined up to the spear. It looks off. It might just be perspective, but still, I find it funny. And also, what I was telling,
it's sculpted fine.
Oh yeah, and also what I told you before the show is that I really like it when people take models that are jumping, and they have to figure out a way to connect it to everything else, so you can actually put it on a base. And I love the inventive ways they try to do it. And for this one, I like how they just said, screw it, just put like a still pole there. That's fine. He's totally jumping off it.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Looking at the painted image that they put on Warhammer Community, yeah, it does look a bit crooked. Now you say it.
You'll never be able to unsee it. The model's ruined.
I mean, in fairness, when you compare them to things like the Horus Heresy Night Raptors, when all you have to stick them to the base is literally just the tips of their toes, and they fall over constantly. You have to hold it in place for 45 minutes until the glue dries or something.
Some of the Wolfen models are bad like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balancing act. Like, I've got witch elves, and they're all stood on a rock deliberately because they're just so dynamic that they couldn't stand up any other way.
But further on, what do we know about this guy?
His name is like Harkon. Oh, what's his name?
Harkon World Claimer?
Something like that.
I mean, it says here, it's come to Vigilance led by the sinister herald known as Harkon World Claimer. The new champion of the Dark Gods have declared the world of Vigilance will fall to the War Master within 80 days. I guess the War Master, according to their link, is Abaddon, apparently. Which I like how it links to the old Abaddon model, which I don't think they ever got him a new one.
No. He needs a new model as well.
He does, 100%. As much as we meme at him and everything else, like he 100% needs it.
Yep, I would agree.
And his Horus Heresy model doesn't count.
And speaking of actually, just while you mentioned Horus Heresy, they're talking about this Vigilus Defiant book like it's a Horus Heresy book.
Ooh.
So like They're saying take the depth, texture, and detail of the campaign books from Heresy, add in thematic armies and narrative battles inspired by classics like Codex Armageddon, throw in an epic story that will change the face of the galaxy, and you've got this campaign book. Now, that's a lot of hype to put behind one book.
That is.
That is a hell of a lot of hype.
Color me intrigued.
Definitely. It will be, if it's as good as they're saying it's going to be, it will be the best campaign book ever. But when you're trying to compare it to the black books with a flavour of Codex Armageddon, oh dear.
Those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Very. And there's more, sticking with Vigilus itself, Genestealer Cults. Finally.
Oh, yes, the biker gang ones.
Oh, wait, did we just skip the entire urban conquest thing that you can totally pay millions of dollars for terrain?
We'll get through everything at the Weekender, but we're going by rule of cool.
Nah, you're good. Like, I saw the Genestealer stuff, like the ATV and motorcycles, and I'm not a Genestealer player. I think but the look of the vehicles and everything are really, really awesome. And I know a lot of people looked at those and goes, I'm going to convert the hell out of those. Those are
definitely
excellent for conversions. If the legs are not attached to the motorcycle, because I doubt they are from the look of the models, but for like conversion sakes, I am going to get me some of these and start converting, because it would be excellent for like just like different bikers, Imperial Guard, Rough Riders, stuff like that.
Yeah, I had scout bikers in my head because one of them's got a sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
I love the quad bike.
I'm not... the quad bike with a mining laser,
It's adorable. I love that thing.
Yeah. Also, I love how the pilot's like driving a quad bike, firing a mining laser, and still has a hand free to chuck dynamite despite not having a third arm. Just, yep. Classic.
Speaking of classic, can we talk about the new Noise Marine?
Oh, yes.
I love him.
The Noise Marine.
He's my favorite. I love that they gave him like a freaking awesome mohawk. I love that like it's a very accurate. I mean, I say accurate. I'm saying like very well detailed guitar, and even though they gave him an outrageous like color scheme, that's like from. It's like I don't know what era to really call this anymore, but it is
80s.
Well, it's based on a Jez Goodwin sketch from like the original era, so I'm assuming that Jez Goodwin drew it that way.
Oh, gotcha.
I just appreciate the fact that with that model they stuck it on a green flock base from the olden days.
And then put a Primaris helmet there and ruined the effect.
I like if you notice where his left hand is on the model, to where it's pretty much just on the guitar and everything else. I like how where the bolter is attached. That like if you just get one chord wrong and you have your one thumb extended and it's just kind of like, oh well, there you go. And also, is that like a 1, 2, 3, 6 string guitar? No, that's normal. Yeah,
it's a 6.
Yeah. I was like, because I saw like if you notice, there's like one extra line at the bottom. I don't know what that is. I think there's like one extra half line that just kind of stops.
Oh, it's the casing. It's the flame casing. It just looks like a string.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That messed me up. But I like the wide skull thing of it. I love how the bolter is encased into it. I also like how the firing mechanism is a giant tube that goes up to his hand, which is I forgot what it's called, the bar thing that you...
Whammy bar.
Yeah, whammy bar. I like the whammy bar is the trigger.
Yeah, I could just imagine him just absolutely just pulling that down and just hitting those like the classic air guitar, just like wow, and it just fires off a salvo. I can see it. I can really see it.
I love it. Like
and I love the fact that they. Sorry, go on.
You're. I'll just make a dumb joke that if I ever play a bard, I'm using this model.
He's probably playing Motley Crue or something on it as well.
What I was gonna say is, I like the fact that they actually made the weapon look like it works. Because they could have quite easily... I know, obviously, the sketch has to be accurate. But they could have had it just like, oh yeah, he just plays the notes and the gun fires. But it isn't. It actually has a proper firing mechanism built into it. So it actually makes
I
sense.
still want him doing like A minor, E minors, and everything else, and it just does different like frequency of shooting. He has to like play Dragon Force, the rapid fire.
Yeah, that would be. Also, like, I had a feeling. I thought it would have been a Sonic Blaster, not a Bolter, but I guess Sonic Blasters hadn't been invented back then.
Regardless, I love it. And also like how he has platform shoes.
Ragnar.
Anyway, it's
But
fantastic
yeah,
model, and I know a lot of
and
class players are going to just mass buy these.
Also, the news apparently comes courtesy of Warhammer 40,000 themed. Comes courtesy of the band Deep Strike. Are we going to see a full set?
I hope so.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. Even your sync thinks it's as well. But
can we get a noise marine that plays drums and it just like it fires grenade launchers with every beat?
Yes.
Oh, what they could do, they can make it the drum kit be the trance, but have like a rhino with like a drum kit on top, kind of like the Exorcist.
Oh. Yes. Microphone, obviously, Doom Siren. That's kind of. The
bass will be the Blastmaster.
Yeah.
Have another Sonic Blaster.
You probably need.
You'll have two guitars, haven't you?
Yeah, so like keytar maybe instead of too many guitars.
Two guitars, a keytar, and a bass. Yeah. There you go. Problem solved. With the singer, you got a 5-man squad, and the drummer is the transport. Yeah. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, somebody do that now if you haven't already. And then Goth Rockers as the support crew, like slightly Slaneshi converted Goth Rockers as like the supporting act. I'm getting too engrossed into this. Although before we leave G's through the cults, shout out to the guy who's invading Warhammer World.
Oh yeah, the Genestealer with the holographic little panel that's like, oh hey, here's all of Warhammer World with battle plans on it, little highlights. That if you look at the Warhammer community post for it all, and they kind of do a zoom in of it. For one, I don't know how the hell that guy painted all that, so I'm impressed by that detail. And all at the same time, it's like, I like that little Easter egg they had. I kind of wish they kind of didn't point it out 100%, but I also know that some people would appreciate it or never see it, because not a lot of people are going to get this model. So,
yeah, we don't know if that's going to be like an actual GSC character or just a sort of like special thing that doesn't do anything. Yeah. We don't know yet.
If anything else, like for something like the White Dwarf Space Marine thing they had for anniversary, for one, I took one to convert it, and it's terrible for converting for like squat Marines. But because like one shoulder pad's small, if you take a normal one, yeah. But for models like this that don't specifically have rules, I usually use them as objective markers.
Yeah, like the Varus guy from Battle for the Crag back in 4th Ed.
But further on, what do we got?
We got Karanak.
Oh yeah, he looks lovely.
Fleshhound of Doom.
Oh yeah.
My friend said it looks like he's got 3 heads that all are trying to sneeze at the same time, and I kind of can't unsee it now.
Like they're all struggling.
Oh, and there's the Slanesh harp player.
Yeah, that didn't get revealed on Warhammer Community, but someone put that in my Discord. I was just like, what?
That looks awesome. I love the fact that like they're playing all the ligaments in the person's spine as like the harp strings. That's awesome.
That's brutal.
If that's the new Slaneshi Herald, I think that's just going to fly off shelves.
We got a new support act for the Noise Marines.
Just make an entire band. Actually,
yes. Well, they're called Deep Strike, so yes.
Let's see, I'm trying to let's see, names or something. Yada. Trying to find any more information on this hound. Because when I asked you before, I was like, is this an Age of Sigmar thing at first? I didn't know why it was mixed in.
Oh, it's from what's that? Realm of Chaos.
Wrath and Rapture.
Wrath and Rapture, yeah. Which is advertised as being both Age of Sigmar and 40k. Good stuff.
Yeah. And Karanak, for those who don't know who Karanak is sort of Khorne's chosen headhunting dog. So if someone needs to die, then Karanak's probably going to be the one sent to go and do it.
Sick 'em, boy.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a good boy. He's trying.
He's a good free-headed boy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find more. There it is. I found it. I was especially trying to find the video, but one thing I really like, because I mentioned this before, that I'm usually happy when some armies finally get something new. And I understand that, Space Marines are getting still a good chunk of love. But I know I'm not 100% sure on the perspective of it because I could just be lying out of my mouth. But I'm glad that Chaos players are finally getting like some demons and stuff, because I think they've just been stuck with the box sets of here's Winged Demon 1 and 2 and here's some Bloodthirsters. That's all they've gotten for a while. So I'm glad they're getting something else or more models that they can possibly bring to their 40k army. Because that's one thing I'm always in support of, is that more models that are newer, nicer, that you can just keep adding to your hobby.
Absolutely.
And all of them look really... I think it's just Slanesh and Khorne, right? I'm trying to find...
It is. It's Slanesh and Khorne in this case.
Yeah, I know they didn't get a lot of love.
Hopefully we'll get Realm of Chaos lore out of it. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're going to keep talking over like...
I'm really hoping we'll get actual, like, lore for the Realm of Chaos, whether the Sigmar or 40k/both version. I really want actual proper solid, well, as solid as it gets, Realm of Chaos lore.
Well, you could always get the republished book of Slaves to Darkness from Warhammer World.
Yeah, but that means I have to go to Nottingham. And who wants to go to Nottingham?
That's just a good point.
I sound like fucking Thunder now.
Yeah, I didn't know there was really enmity between Norwich and Nottingham, but hey.
There isn't. It's just like when Thunder was talking about fucking Norfolk back in episode.
The only enmity there is now is between Dr. White and food colouring.
Oh, God.
Why'd you guys do that to him?
He offered. I had the Discord messages say he just went, hey, if 10 people ask me to drink it, I'll do it. So here you go. Here's proof.
White, you're an idiot. I'll tell you that later. To his face.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
That's what he gets for bursting into Thunder's room drunk.
Yeah. Also on the agenda, we have a new class of Titan out of nowhere.
Ooh, the Warbringer.
Correct.
Yeah. The more and more I'm looking at them, the more and more I look at them, like, I love the look of the cannon, and then I slowly start to hate the shoulder pads.
Yep.
And got T-Rex arms.
Yeah, like, I'm not a giant fan of the look. Like, I'm looking at it, I don't really look at it as a Titan. I look at it like an Imperial Knight that got, like, steroid real bad. And I didn't like how it got warped up. Like, I'm pretty sure in other angles. Not to mention, I like how they highlight the interior, which looks freaking awesome on how they paint it, and I love the interior of it. And if someone gets all conversion-y with it and wants to spend the thousands of dollars just to get the inside for it, has an excellent, like, door housing inside and all that cool stuff. But what makes it really funny is that there's people on the sides with telescopes. Why?
Maybe they're rangefinders. I don't know.
You are in the 41st millennium, and you still have to use a freaking telescope on the side of a Titan. Why are there no, like, camera optics on the outside? Why are you out here?
The machine spirit was temperamental that day.
Like, that must be it. Like, if anything has a screw in it and it gets antsy, that's... Good lord. But otherwise, though, it's a ginormous model, and they're probably going to have, like, maximum 100 sold.
Yeah, I feel like, going back to your point about the design, the whole central column, i.e. legs, torso, head, doomsday, whatever that fucker is,
it's
cannon.
Cannon.
Whatever it is, with its revolver-style mechanism, brilliant. It's as you go outward, like, the shoulder pads just seem like too much. There's probably a design reason why, like, they need to make sure that the gun has got a certain firing arc, and they need to shield it from side attacks or whatever. But then the arms, Rem has it right, they're just too bloody stubby. Also, hang on, wait, stop.
No, you're good.
That's got Sons of Horus markings on it.
Wait, what?
Is there something else with the eye on it?
No, I don't mean that. I mean, look at the
like the
banner units, the banner crotch, or the crotch banner. It's got the Eye of Horus on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's do some Googling to see if that's it, 'cause I don't think 100%. So let's see. Eye of Horus.
You'll get the Egyptian one if you just Google
God
that.
darn it.
That looks
Horus.
like the symbol
40K.
of the Sons of Horus.
There we go.
That really looks like that little...
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah, that is.
Like, I got confused at first by the red eye on its right knee, but that could just be the Tiger Eyes, like, legion that it belongs to, which I think it is. But that is the symbol of the Sons of Horus. Why?
Huh.
It's a traitor titan. Blow it up.
But then it's got the symbol of the Collegia Titanica on it.
I am so confused.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Also, kind of bring back my thing. The more and more I'm looking at the shoulder pad thing, it looks like the entire top. Why it looks so weird is that the entire top is just an artillery platform with some anti-aircraft guns. That's probably would also explain why people are on top of that with telescopes. And like,
Spartans.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, the thing with the glass that goes look. That if you look at it, it looks like they can all go around the turret and stuff, and they can move people around on the top, like it's a mobile firing platform. And I'm assuming,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the rules for Titans because I never will ever play them. But like, I don't know if you can carry other units with it. So with that, maybe you can just take your Space Marines and kind of go pop, 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 or Imperial Guard or Mechanicus, put them on top of the snipers and fire off of it.
I find that little possibility unlikely because there's too much risk that a rogue las cannon bolt hits the god machine and then, oh my god, everything dies.
Yeah.
But I get it. And transport Titans, I know the Imperator has law transport, even if it doesn't actually do it in game because it doesn't have rules. Although, like, this is I don't know. Part of me thinks this is kind of a missed opportunity to bring an Ordinatus weapon into the game. Like, if it's an artillery platform or legs, why not just make it an Ordinatus weapon?
I guess
I don't know. That would just be.
Or something. I'm also looking at its eyes, and I think it has like actual pupil-looking things.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like the head. I hate it. I don't like it at all.
I mean, since it's got a tiny T-Rex, I'll just give it a big T-Rex head and make it look better.
And chaotic.
Well, it's already got the Sons of Horus logo on it. Might as well go all the way.
Yeah, do you remember the old... I was looking through some stuff. I found the Banelord Titan.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
That was like, it basically looked like a Demon Prince Titan. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it had a big tail cannon as well.
Yeah, it did.
They were awesome. Back in the day.
Agreed. Now, on to some more book-related business.
Oh, yes.
Let's go back and... Let's leave chapter approved for a second. I just want to quickly mention, as Zoran brought it up, Urban Conquest. Map-based cities of death, baby. Yes!
Yeah, I have to... Well, let me see what the thing says. New campaign sim design, monster, map-based campaigns, yada, yada, yada. 5% supremacy. Where's the information? Because basically what I'm looking for is like, are they bringing out new terrain? Are they bringing out more rules for terrain? Or are they just saying, here's a scenario?
We don't know yet.
Because one of the...
I get the feeling it's going to be planetary empires, like maybe hex-based map campaigns or like sectors.
Yeah.
That you then play using Cities of Death updated rules is how I expect it'll work. Because they brought out an assload of terrain with Kill Team, the new Sector Imperialis stuff. Like, they're swimming in quality Hive City terrain right now.
Yeah. Because I know one of the major like problems for like 8th edition is terrain rules. A lot of people are confused about terrain rules. Because I sat down with like a lot of people and trying to go like, okay, what about 8th edition are you most confused about? And a lot of it's actually terrain. There's some little usually rules that some people never really got a hold of, but when someone like gets into like a piece of terrain, like do you get a cover, do you get this, and in the rule book it'll tell you, but there's some of it just kind of like just like in the excerpt inside the rule book is like just figure it out. Like that's all it tells you. It's just make something up, like making sure this is like +5 the cover, like you don't know. And when I saw this stuff, I immediately thought like, okay, cool, maybe they're gonna add some rules or additional rules for cover, trying to solidify that. But the more and more I'm looking at it, it really looks to me that they want to sell a whole bunch of terrain and add some rules to it. So you can actually, like, if you're very rich and you can afford the giant urban type maps people make, or you scratch build your own, that you get to have some additional stuff for it. Like if you're on top of a building or whatever, you get a +1 to hit or something because you see the enemy and you get to ignore their cover, which I think is also a base rule in some of the already put in the rule book, like urban fighting stuff. So they may be adding on to that. So I'm very curious on how they're going to do with it, and I'm very curious to see the terrain that comes out of it. And I'm really hoping, I'm hoping at a false pretense or a false thing here, because I really want the terrain to be cheap, but I know it's not. And the box set looks to be Ultramarine Primaris dudes, it seems, versus something. I'm guessing I don't know if they're even a versus something. I don't know.
Box set?
Yeah, at the end of the video, it looks like a box set thing they're doing, or it's just a banner for it. But it looks like what you would design a box set for.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. It's Primaris versus something.
Yeah, I guess it's just here's some Primaris Marines to use your terrain or something else. And I'm very curious to see, for all the preview stuff of the terrain and everything. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get all of it, but for someone who, because my biggest struggle right now is getting terrain, and terrain's expensive. I mean, for me, because I'm dirt poor, you can spend $100 or $200 on eBay and get some pretty alright stuff that's scratch built from other people. But for getting Games Workshop stuff, just forget about it. Unless you bought Kill Team, the starter box set when it came out, and it's now getting gouged on eBay and other stores to be a high price, you're kind of doomed on just getting gouged by Games Workshop prices. So I'm really interested to see how this goes.
I would agree with most of that, because I've never bought terrain. Even the useful stuff like the Tau drone ports or the Netboy Workshop, I've never bought it.
So I've been trying to figure out how to because I like to have terrain, so when I go to my hobby shop, I can contribute that way. I go, oh, if you're just tired of using this Coke can, here's this really cool. So I got some craters, and also for one thing for people listening, by the way, a really good place to get terrain is the Pegasus Hobby Shop. That basically, if you look at, you can go to their website. I think it's Pegasus Hobby, and in all of their stuff, you go to their gaming section, and if you look for Gothic City buildings and Gothic City ruins, that is all your stuff right there. In the Gothic City buildings, you can make several buildings out of it. If you get some plastic art stuff, you can make your own stuff. And also Gothic City ruins, it's already, the corner pieces of Gothic ruins with the second level that already has a level there, a little broken floor. That's $21.99 USD. And it's you're ready to go. You just spray some gray on there, get a dry brush, get a little lighter color, you're done. Super easy terrain if you're ever interested in it. Super cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just me. I'm, as much as I know it's expensive, I'm a bit of a GW purist, and probably some people will call me a GW apologist. I'm not, but I am a bit of a purist in that I want my collection to be, unless I can find the most ridiculously perfectly fitting model elsewhere, I'll generally go straight down the middle with it. But that's just me, and there's no obligation for anybody to do that.
Oh yeah, 100% understand that where it's hey, I need this to be it. But I'll actually show you a picture of it so you can kind of if you actually saw something like this or whatever on the field, a lot of people would just be confused if that's even Games Workshop or not. It's actually pretty Gothic looking, and it can fit very well. It just won't have any skulls.
It's very fantasy.
Yeah.
It looks straight out of fantasy.
Yeah, it looks great, and it fits with the Gothic aesthetic that Warhammer has. But I understand it completely. If you want to stay with Warhammer stuff, 100%, if you can do it, do it.
Yeah. Speaking of things that aren't exactly Games Workshop but still are tied to 40k, should we talk about the new Mechanicus game, considering we've got a streamer on?
Yes. Have you guys been able to play it yet?
No, I've heard it's
my machine won't run it.
Aw. I got to play it before it was released. The developers gave me hey, here's a preview copy, and I was able to stream it. And the more I kept going through it, a lot of people are is it garbage? Is it crap? Is it anything else? And it's not terrible. More and more I kept playing it, I was this is well put together for the preview build I was given. It is pretty much Adeptus Mechanicus versus Necrons and stuff.
Necrons?
And basically on how it works is that a lot of people, first thing I want to clear out a thing, a lot of people kind of feel this game is being a Warhammer 40k XCOM type game. And I highly disagree.
I think though...
Go ahead.
That's kind of sort of the impression that the preview articles gave, though. So I can understand why, even if it's not true, I can understand why people who haven't played it get that impression from the trailers and whatnot.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like, I understand the misconception of it to where you see a turn-based strategy and XCOM's turn-based when it gets to the battle stuff. You have an overview thing of going through stuff, but XCOM 2 in that era of going through the different countries and stuff and dealing with various threats throughout the globe is a lot different than what they have here, which is basically you have so many missions to take before the end. And for XCOM, you can just kind of keep going if you want to for a good chunk of time before the Avatar project catches up with you. But in this game, you have an end. It is you do as much as you can to get all the stuff that you need before the game ends. And of course, I can't say 100% for now because I haven't played it after it got released, but the preview build was pretty much suggested to that. Like, you have this many missions to do, and you need to get this much stuff, because if you don't get this much stuff, you lose. And the things that they share with XCOM is that your units inside Mechanicus, you're able to change and customize and name every single one. So whenever I was doing it, I just gave chat a random character going, 235 also fine. You are now this guy. And you get to see all your little characters go on. The one thing that I kind of liked with the Mechanicus is that when you go into like a dungeon, which I will simply, or Necron Tomb, it's kind of like Darkest Dungeon in a way, that you have a large sprawling map that you're going through, and you go to room to room to room, just kind of clicking, and then you may possibly find some treasure, you may possibly find some artifacts, or you come up to a situation to where there's some Necron technology. Should we destroy it because of Xenos filth, or should we keep it and analyze it for the Mechanicus and possibly get better technology? And you have to kind of outweigh the odds and ends of going like, you shouldn't really be doing that because you're going to, make the Necrons mad, or you're just going to get some extra bonus stuff. But mechanically and stuff,
would you call it a dungeon crawler, though? Would you classify it as a dungeon crawler, loot 'em up game on a clock, or is it still turn-based strategy warfare that happens to share some dungeon crawler mechanics?
I would kind of mix it in there, because you're still dungeon crawling like in Darkest Dungeon throughout, but the battle system is still, turn-based. To where you come in, you bring it, you get put on the battle grid, which looks very kind of structured. It's not as big and sprawling as like XCOM 2 maps. It's basically you have a little square section, and you have to deal with the obstacles that are presented to you. Like, there's a boss fight, which, funny enough, that I forget the Necron unit. It's the one thing that looks like a freaking centaur, but it's floating.
Destroyer.
The big obliterate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, there's a destroyer boss who comes up. And the puzzle for that is to kite him around in a turn-based strategy way and just slowly but surely gather extra command points and then try to kill him. And the turn-based strategy is that you spawn your dudes, then the enemy spawns, and you can do various hacking things with your servo skull to gain command points or action points or whatever they call it, to where you get to do another action with your unit. So say, for example, if I want to move and shoot, or if I want to move, and shoot, I needed to use another command point. And there's also certain very powerful weapons that you have, like certain plasma guns or heavy flamers and stuff like that, that require command points to use. So you're constantly farming little objectives on the map while you're moving dudes around.
Sounds a bit like Space Hulk, actually, where you had Space Hulk, you got your command pool that you can do extra shit with. It didn't have like weapons being tied to it, but like weapons cost more AP. Some weapons like the Flamer cost more AP, so you probably needed your CP to make it happen.
Exactly like that.
Okay.
And all that kind of ties together. You get the fight Necrons, which, but like model wise and the look and feel of everything is really fun. Like, if you're interested in a turn-based strategy game to where you're kind of like racing against a clock kind of, and trying your best to kind of strategize what's the best build to get the most efficient money and results out of your dungeon dive, it's a good game. Like, I highly recommend it if you're into something like that. But if you're like me and you're just tired of every single 40K game coming out that's another turn-based strategy game, I would say you're not going to be missing out much, but it's still very unique. It's still, like, besides like taking out all the 40K out of it, because I realize a lot of people look at a 40K game and go, oh, it's 40K, I love it. Like, no, I'd like to take the 40K out and look at the game, and just gameplay-wise, it's good. It's really fun, and it's enjoyable for someone like me who's even sick of turn-based strategy games. So, as much as I could go on like hours of just talking about it more, just to summarize, it's good, it's solid, you're going to have a really fun time. If you add on back on the 40K, you're going to have a really fun time playing as possibly whoever's playing at your favorite faction and fighting possibly your favorite faction or most hated faction. So you'll have a good time.
Yeah. One of the critiques that sometimes gets leveled at licensed games is it's just a game with X licenses coat of paint slapped on it to try and drive up the price. Does this feel like a turn-based RTS that happens to be 40K, or does it feel like a 40K game when it's got that skin on? Because that sometimes can put people off. It's just like, oh, it's just another turn-based RTS that happens to be 40K. Why bother?
Yeah, like it feels like a good turn-based strategy game. I keep wanting to say RTS. Like it feels like a good turn-based strategy with a good 40K skin on it. If you take out the skin and replace it with like World War II or something, it would still be a fun game. Guarantee it. It might be, and as Remleiz said, it being easy. With my preview build, I never felt that I was super in danger. So if there is a difficulty thing that they added possibly, I recommend doing that. And I don't know how it is later in the levels. But give it a shot. Play it for like a couple hours on Steam. You don't like it, refund it.
Yeah, I think I saw someone on Twitter saying that they basically spec'd their tech priest so much that they one-shotted the final boss.
That seems legit.
But I have no way to back that up.
If anything else, if a lot of people keep reporting it as easy and ask the devs to make it harder, I'm pretty sure they could take some time and tweak some stuff. But I had fun with it when I was able to play it. Like, people kept asking, what's wrong with it? I'm like, I can't find anything majorly wrong. I have no major complaints. It's just that it is not an XCOM 2.
It just works.
Like, if you're looking to be XCOM, it is not that. I'd skip it if you're looking for another XCOM 2, but 40K. But we did make a lot of mods for XCOM 2, which you can now play as Space Marines with the mods and Guardsmen. That's a mod that me and several friends made. So if you want that, we have mods out now.
Fair enough. In other news, the Spears of the Emperor Limited Edition went on sale today.
Yeah, that flipping thing is a monster.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's a novel by Aaron Dembski-Bode, and that also includes a lore book, like in-universe lore for the Emperor Spears chapter, which also includes chapter tactics to use on the tabletop, as well as transfer kits to basically, decorate your Marines, a mission objective marker thing, a purity seal, and a crap ton of art prints. And the main thing that's really taken my interest about that is the story has the bloody mentors in it. Of all fucking things.
One of them.
Yeah, but even so, it's more than what they ever get normally. I think the only story you've ever had is like a 5-page short story. That's literally it.
True.
Now they got a supporting character in this novel. I'm excited.
Yeah. And there's also the extra short story that's coming along is called The First Primaris. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, is that the first Emperor's Spears Primaris or the first Primaris?
I'll let you know when I get that book.
Yeah. I think the other thing that came out, between this podcast and the previous was Plague War. I think that's around and about now.
Plague War came out a while ago, actually.
Oh, because I don't remember us talking about it, so it might have just gone over my head.
But we did get the limited edition for Blackstone Fortress, the novel.
Now that should be a fun read.
Yes, I'm going to be starting it next week. And it's also got another exclusive short story called The Talismans of Vol, which should be interesting.
The Talismans of Vol? Where have I heard that before?
That's the Eldari name for the Blackstone Fortresses.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was something more interesting than that. Never mind.
But if it's a short story focused exclusively on the Eldari, that could be quite an interesting thing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely hoping that in this Blackstone Fortress novel, it's not all about the rogue trader and his crew. I want the other players that you can have in the game to get some look in, like the Kroot. The robot needs at least one chapter, or the Man of Iron, I should say.
Yeah.
that as long as they give each of the crew a little bit of time without it being totally disjointed, because jumping perspective could get quite disjointed, I think that could be really, really interesting.
Oh, yeah. What else was there? The first 5 novels of the Horus Heresy series were now available to order on demand in hardback.
Nice.
I think they said they're going to do it with every single Horus Heresy novel up until the end of Siege of Terror. To do print on demand, so like every 2 weeks it'd be like 5 novels or something.
I don't think they ever got to the Emperor fight, have they?
No, that's part of the Siege of Terror series that's coming next.
Sorry, I don't get to follow the books that much, so I'm literally waiting for every lore person I know to go, oh my god, they got to the Emperor, and go, what happens? It's like, that's the only part I'm like super wanting to know.
Spoiler, Horus dies.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, you're fine. I want to see all the details. I want to know, is it anguish? Is it happiness? Is it glee when Horus died? Like, I want to know every canon put into stone detail that they put in.
Is it Alanius Pius that comes on the bridge? Is it Alanius Pius? Is it a Custodian? Is it a Terminator? Is it all 3? Is it Garviel Loken? We don't know.
Does he have a cat? Did the cat tip over a knife and it killed the Emperor? Who? What happened?
It was Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is the Horus Heresy.
Dude, I don't know. Tom and Jerry, with their invulnerability, can solo the entire fleet if they really wanted to. They would plot armor destroy every reactor in those ships.
Well, apart from that one episode where they committed suicide by waiting for a train to run them over.
And they're still alive.
Well, their career isn't there, really, is it?
Nah, that's the only thing that died.
It died when they made him speak in the movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We don't want to go into that. It's too painful.
We don't talk about that anymore. Next thing.
Yeah, next thing.
Oh,
Unless
Black Library Advent Calendar.
Okay.
Because of course there is.
Yes, but the thing is...
Wait. Is it like sexy poses of the Men of Iron or what?
Nah, afraid not. It's like a short story every day in December. But there's some audio dramas, and one that's really caught my attention. There's going to be an audio drama about Gore Halfhorn, the Beastman bounty hunter. He's getting an audio drama. That is awesome.
Who?
Oh my god, they got the origins of the Onega Gauntlet in there.
You spoke too fast. One more time. Slowly.
The origin story of the Onega Gauntlet.
He gets to read about donkey punches, so he's happy.
Oh, but it's a Tau story. Can we just point out this is the first Tau story since Crisis of Faith. This is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I think Gore Halfhorn deserves more of a mention because it's the first Imperial Beastman story. Period.
I mean, yes, but that's just something that intrigued me just because I haven't read this article. So
where's my squat book? Huh?
Funny enough, Josh Reynolds did say he wants to write a squat book.
Well, he needs to hurry up.
He also said he wants to write a Necromunda novel, so I said, why not just do a story about Grendelson? 2 birds, 1 stone.
It's like, you get your Tau book, you get your Beastman book. Where's my squat book?
In the gym.
Ooh, 5. There's going to be 5 little shorts in there in the weeks before the Siege of Terror. Including one set inside Angron's flagship, one about the last ever meeting of the Council of Terror before it became the High Lords. There's some interesting reading in here.
I hope the one in Angron's flagship finally gets us, an idea of what happened to Lothar Sarin. We deserve to know.
Yeah, it's set within the bowels of the Conqueror, so if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be there. Oh, right. So the Men of Iron's getting his own story in the Advent Calendar.
It's going to be called Beep Boop 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 Beep 001.
Dear, oh dear. What's in there for AOS? Shadespire, Hamilcar Bear Eater. Who the flip is Hamilcar Bear Eater?
He's a man who eats bears. Run, Zoran, run!
No! Ah!
Who the flip is this guy?
He's a man who eats bears.
Enemy. Oh,
he's a Stormcast. Got it.
Another reason for Zoran to hate the Stormcast. The heat bears.
Stormcast 40k. I suck at lore. Give me a moment. Okay, it's a storm. I'm confused. Explain.
Sigmarines.
There's nothing.
Is it like he's a Stormcast as a joke, or what is he?
He looks like he's a Stormcast who just happens to have picked up that epithet, probably from slaying some ginormous bear in the realm of peace, because that's just what his chamber does.
Huh. But yeah, I think I've ever complained about how the Stormcast look on your podcast. I like their armor. I like their shields. I like the big hammers. Really good. But their faces are ugly. I hate how it looks like a human face for their helmets. I think it would just go away. I like the blank, like, freaking T-posed hole slits that makes them look cool. And this is stupid looking. And I hate them. So does he have the stupid helmet face?
They all do, unless they have no helm.
No, like that character specifically, does he have it?
Don't know, because you don't have artwork for him.
If he does,
hasn't he got a novel coming out though?
There's a short story about him involving the Astral Templars, and on the front cover, whoever it is, whether it's him,
are the Astral Templars the ones who dress in purple?
Reddish purple, I think, according to their battle tome. They are the best beast hunters in the entirety.
Was his name Hamilcar Bear-Eater? Yeah, he's got a novel coming out, and he's not wearing a helmet.
In assuming that's him in that image, yes.
Well, the novel's called Hamilcar, Champion of the Gods.
No, I'm looking at the short story called Bear.
Yeah, I'm looking at the novel.
Right. We're looking at different things here. Never mind.
Here you go, here's a picture of him.
Okay, it's not that bad. Okay. I like the way he
Lord
looks.
Castellan. Got it. I didn't realize that was his name. There's that Lord Castellan who looks fucking badass.
I like how he looks now.
He looks like Lucas the Trickster, but in purple.
Yeah.
Definitely has got a Space Wolfy vibe about it.
Yeah.
The Space Bears.
I hope it's good.
Yeah, the Advent calendars are great. If you've got time to read them or buy them all, then the Advent calendar is fantastic for lore nuts.
Considering the fact that like when I was doing like Leman Russ at the start, and I needed to do research about them, or like, what are the Space Wolves? I was like, read this Space Wolf Omnibus. I'm like, okay. I think I got to the part where Ragnar gets to Terra, and then I was like, all right, I'll get back to this, and I never did.
Oh, that was the series that had the fat Space Wolf, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
the one who wanted a meat pie. That's the only thing I really remember about him. He saved someone's life, and as a reward, he wanted a pie.
I want a meat pie. That's my meat pie.
So you could have had anything you wanted. You could have had an entire world, and you asked for a meat pie. It was a big pie.
I wanted a meat pie. But yeah, like, unfortunately, like, I'm not able to super relate to the lore stuff, but I'm super glad to hear people talk about it with such enthusiasm. Because, like, it's as much as I can, like, look at a thing, like, I don't like your model. I hate everything about your lore automatically. It's not really that. Like, I think a lot, like, for a lot of the 40k stuff is super interesting. Age of Sigmar, though, is, like, so foreign to me. Because every single time I've tried to ask about, like, Age of Sigmar stuff for this, it's been a case of, oh, is it like the old world stuff? And it's like, no. I'm like, then I don't like it. Because I like that stuff. And I don't understand this change. In which...
You sound like a third of my comments.
I know, right? And it comes... But I don't want to disrespect anybody for it. But at the same time, it's kind of like... I look at the Age of Sigmar stuff, and I hear people absolutely loving it and stuff. And I'm super happy that they do. Like, I am so glad that this thing's getting some love somewhere, because it definitely... Because I don't know how much it's being hated on anymore, because after the initial announcement of it, I haven't heard really any bad stuff after.
I mean, with the second edition Age of Sigmar, it has basically improved a lot of people's view on the game and the setting and that, because, you know, the second edition actually has lore.
Was good. The lore is what I usually hear bad stuff about.
Yeah, well, originally the lore was very... It was paper thin, but now it's actually there, and it's actually quite interesting. So a lot of people's views have actually warmed to it. It's like, okay, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, basically, if you read anything that came out from the start of 2018 onwards, so Nurgle, Nagash, Daughters of Cain, Idened Deepkin, Stormcast Nighthaunt, Beast of Chaos, and presumably Moon Clan whenever they come along, because yes, the goblins are back, motherfucker. That stuff, you can tell, has just been handcrafted awesomely. And honestly, reading AOS 2's rulebook, if you don't mind it being a little bit zany, i.e. completely over the top murder, if you don't mind that, which you shouldn't if you like 40k, if you don't mind the fact that, okay, except a few bits of hand waving because ancient god magic, which you also have to do because you do that in 40k, there comes a point where you're nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking.
Yeah.
Like, the ogres worship, there's a caste of ogres who learn fire magic because, according to their mythology, Gork and Mork ate the sun and then belched it out because he had indigestion.
Neat.
Indeed. And you've got the Stormcast, who looked at first at these super glorious, glittering Sigmarini over-the-top bullshit. But then you realise that they're not. They're still human-ish at the end of the day. They have personalities. They have fear-ish. And their souls are slowly eroding away with every reforging. So they're racing against the clock, dying over and over and over. And their souls are fading away. And they just become mindless killing machines that glow with lightning power. And then you've got the Sacrosanct Chamber hunting down anything, like dabbling with all sorts of shit just to try and fix it. Because Sigmar had to rush, because otherwise chaos would have taken over the entire universe. It's just, oh, it's so good if you read it.
And the co-host there.
And that.
You know, the chaos god of atheism. He's still around.
I have one random lore question for it. I know we're a 40k podcast, but still.
No, it's fine. I've tried to get I try and have an Age of Sigmar segment, so you gave me the perfect segue. This will do.
One big question I have, like what like dwarves and overlords. I love dwarves are my favorite race ever. And in Age of Sigmar, what a brief thing, are they still kind of the same, or did they turn into character on overlords and then a bunch of slayers who survive are like, we controlled fire dragons now, and now their own thing? Because I know you can play as old world dwarves still.
Yeah, you can. You can still play as dispossessed. But okay, so the fire slayers of today are not the slayers of yesteryear.
Okay,
they're completely different. So Grimnir, who is an old dwarven god from fantasy, you may know the name. He made it through. He survived. And he helped Sigmar with the original conquering of the realms. And he basically said to Sigmar, give me the biggest fucking fight you can. So Sigmar gave him Volcatrix, which is a giant fucking salamander. And the two of them killed each other. Like, explosively killed each other. And the Fire Slayers, who are the residents of the Realm of Fire, who happen to be dwarves, now seek out the gold known as Urgol, which is apparently like Volcatrix and Grimnir's essence that got left behind, and that gives them power in the runes that they carve into their bodies. The fact they look like Slayers is kind of because Grimnir does, not because of the old Slayers, it's because of Grimnir. So that's fine. Caradron, haven't done the reading, so excuse me. I don't know about Caradron. All I know is that they're mercantile as fuck and they live in the sky.
Yeah, I heard they were like sky pirates, basically.
They're more like merchants than pirates, but they got completely fucked over because the Realm of Metal got zinched hard, like really zinched. Sorry, my throat's gone really dry, hang on. As for the regular dwarves, it's not so clear. Like, we've got fragments, and I can probably go and get the snippets and send them over at some point. You can have a read of what we have got, but it's not a lot because they haven't got a battle tome yet, so I couldn't say for sure. And sorry, my boy.
No, you're good. Go and take a break, and we'll talk about another thing.
But on the plus side, Gotrek Gurnason is back.
Who's he?
You know, from Gotrek and Felix, the dwarf.
How do you not know this?
You must understand, I play 40k games. I don't play 40k books. I like playing a lot of 40k video games. I like playing mods. and then someone goes, "Did you know that this one?"
Felix, they've got like 15
I
books.
don't know anything about the books.
He's the dwarf that was voiced by Brian
Yeah, the
Blessed.
dwarf and like a bard dude, I think.
He was voiced by Brian Blessed. That's all you need to know.
I don't know all your memes. I'm new.
It's not even a meme. It's
So, all right, I'm bad at their history, but here's the basic thing: Gotrek is a slayer. He wants to die in the most glorious way possible because that's what slayers used to do. So, some human called Felix drunkenly said, "Oh, I'll go and I'll log your glorious death for the ages." You know, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're so good in a fight that despite going up against
everything.
Humans, dwarves, elves, gods, demons, monsters, everything, they just wouldn't die.
I think I was told that the dwarf basically was given something that made him godlike in a way, so he can't just die.
Did he become an incarnate in the end times? I can't remember. Anyway, somehow, through plot convenience, Gotrek has made it to the mortal realms and is now going to try and get himself killed, presumably in the mortal realms, once he finds Felix to write it down for him, assuming Felix made it through.
Basically, he was so bad at his job, he survived the destruction of the world.
That's some plot armor if I ever heard about it.
And then got transported through space-time to another universe.
Yeah.
So that's some really good plot armor. I want what he's having.
Yeah, but the thing is, he wants to die. It's like, I want to die. The world's blowing up. I'm gonna die. Nope.
Yeah, Gotrek and Felix. If you do know anything about fantasy lore, like, they're probably the most famous pairing in all of fantasy lore. They're kind of like, is there an analogy for those two in 40k? Like,
Emperor Malkador.
I can't think of like a tag team. In terms of like famous tag teams, yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Look, concerned that I never heard about it, but I if I can find it on audiobook, I'll definitely try my best to kind of read them because my memory's not flowing back to that. I remember Fresh telling me about it when we were playing Total Warhammer, and I was like, "What cool stuff do you know about?" Because I don't know anything about the lore. And he's like, "Oh, here's these guys who are super famous, and he can't die because it's stupid." So I'll try my best to read the books and everything if I get the chance.
I'm sure Fresh will be very angry that you don't know Gotrek and Felix.
I'm pretty sure if he ever does listen to this, like he'll probably just go, "Why didn't you remember anything I told you about?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't care about books," and then I just keep going.
That's a very Space Wolf attitude to have.
I mean, I love reading books. Like I read all the Harry Dresden books like twice because I love them so much, and a bunch of other ones. But it's like I have to have time.
Yeah.
And time is not of the essence.
Yeah, I sympathize. I barely ever have time to read anything I'm not researching.
Okay, so what else do we have today? Because I have games to talk about, but I want your guys' stuff out.
I think that's the news. I haven't really got anything else to report from my own reading. I mentioned the Banelord Titan because I think that's just a niche reference that not everybody knows. Rem, have you been reading anything of interest that you haven't mentioned yet?
I finished reading Cadia Stands last night. And one thing I found absolutely funny, because it's one of the few books that actually has the Sons of Malice in it.
Yes.
And it was a bit basically detailing how the Sons of Malice basically, were forced to become renegade, blah, blah, blah. The Inquisitor spotted them eating, human flesh, so they ate the Inquisitor. And the High Lords of Terror response was, "So, you ate that Inquisitor, but we can forgive you if you want to take a 50-year crusade." And I'm thinking, they ate an Inquisitor and you just wave away for a 50-year crusade.
I mean, to be fair, like, what did the Lamenters get for their Badab War roll? Was it 50 or 100?
100.
100.
Yep, the thing is, the Badab War, they, attempted to secede from the Imperium. The Sons of Malice just ate someone.
If attempted secession gets you 100, I can understand a little bit of cannibalism against a high-ranking Imperial official only getting you 50. I can actually see it.
Yeah, and the Inquisitor brought the Order of Our Martyred Lady and I think 4 regiments of Cadian shock troopers, and they got their asses handed to them by the Sons of Malice.
Ooh.
And this is when they took the Sons of Malice unaware, while they were doing their 11-year-long ritual to Malice.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Jobbing out the sisters again.
Not only that, jobbing out the Cadian shock troopers.
Again.
4 regiments.
4 Cadian regiments can take most systems under their own steam. They're pretty good.
4 Cadian regiments like, nah, Sons of Malice, mate. We got Malice on our side. He just stepped in and kicked someone in the face.
How is Cadia doing, by the way?
Fucked.
It broke.
I mean, I know it broke. Like, is it like just 2 pieces orbiting around in space, or is it just like held together by lava?
Have you ever seen what happens when you hit a peanut with a hammer?
Yes. So it's just scattered across the thing, and it's not hold together. Kind of. It's just splintered.
There's
everywhere.
probably enough gravitational force there to keep it loosely together. But when you crash a Blackstone fortress into a planet, it's gonna break a lot.
But don't worry, there's a new Cadia now.
And it's called Vigilus. We've been talking about that for the last hour.
Was Vigilus an ice world?
Strategic position?
High Ash World, I think.
Yeah, it's actually a world called New Cadia, which is an ice world.
The not broken one.
Yeah, not broken one. It was one that just... Yeah. It was in the Agrippina system.
Agrippina or Agrippina? Because I've heard of Agrippina.
Just call me?
Could be Agrippina.
Yeah, I've heard of Agrippina as a system, though I don't know much about what's in it. But anyway.
Yes, and I also read the Shadowsun Lust of Kiru's Line story.
Sassy Shadowsun.
Yeah, and also the scene where she cries for her unborn son.
Characters having a little bit of depth. Fine.
Yeah, like she was having hallucinations about her unborn son because as the last of her bloodline, basically, Almvar said, oh, you're the last of your bloodline. Your bloodline's actually very important. You're excused to retire from the front line and have kids. And then she was like, I'm sorry, I cannot have children, blah, blah, blah. And she was like having hallucinations about her son.
A bit crazy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, I have questions. I have many questions. Like, what the fuck is Almvar doing? Huh?
I don't know.
I know Shadowsun's important, but if you want Kiru's Line, which is supposedly critically important and huge, to keep going, why would you not let her take 5 years off or whatever, like Tao's recovery period is, and then just fob the kid off to fostership?
Here's the thing. He basically said, we understand, you want to carry on this line, so you have all the right to retire from the front line, and then Shadowsun was like, nah.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
But we did learn a few things about Tau, or potential thing about Tau lifespan, because Shadowsun was said to have spent 20 years, in battle, which was half of her life.
Now that can be taken 2 ways.
Yes, either that, half her life,
as in she's 40.
So, or half her life, the expected lifespan of a Tau is 40. And considering that her unit's communications officer is 10 years old.
However, in order to get from Shaswi to Shasva, takes 5 years... No, from Shaswi to... No, hang on. To do the trial by fire is 5 years each. So, Shasla, Shaswi, Shasva, Shasel, Shaso. No Shaso should be younger than 25 if they were with that at birth. By that maths, roughly, if it's every 5 years, you have to serve 20 years or 25 years just to become a top commander. And Shaso is. I know Shasera is a prodigy, but if that were 40 years natural lifespan, and let's say you start serving in the military at the age of 5 for this officer to be 10, that means that no Shaso should be younger than 30. So that half of Shadowsun's life being 20 doesn't add up. So
there's also a bit as well where Fire Warrior cadets are around 5 years old.
The basic Shaslas are 5, add 25, and that makes 30. So Shadowsun, if she's 20,
Yeah.
It makes it unlikely that she's... Yeah, okay. So I think it's more likely to be that she's actually 40 rather than Tau lived to 40, but I could willingly be corrected.
I'm confused. Do Tau like just get birth as like an adult or what?
They
What's
just
going on?
grow up so fast.
Just spring out of holes in the ground, just like, I'm a person now, give me a gun. And it's Jesus.
They also eat
It's
noodles,
like,
canonically.
they go to war at 5. I'm like, what?
Or expected
It's
to...
like, I'm now fully made to kill enemies.
Or
Give
expected
me
to
gun.
conduct diplomatic missions as a member of the water caste. Or, pilot part of the air caste's fleet. Or, let's say, manage a minor part of an engineering project if you're in the earth caste. And
I can just imagine Tau puberty just transitioning like in real time that you can see and hear it. Like, hello, mother, I really love you.
Dear, oh dear.
And what was the other thing as well? Oh, God. So there's the thing about the noodles. They literally have like self-cooking noodle packets that they just take a box and shake it and it cooks noodles automatically, which is weird.
No,
They're
that's...
field rations.
I mean, that's plausible because, those like deep heating packs, you crack them open and that allows the heat to...
Oh, yeah.
There is science behind that working, okay?
Fair enough. And then the Tau got their asses handed to them by a giant sloth bear with antlers.
What?
Like literally a bear the size of a Bane blade.
What?
Yeah. Same story. Basically, they were like navigating through a swamp. Their Imperial Guard prisoners like, we really shouldn't be here. It's like, shut up, Guela. Boom, boom, boom. What is that? That's a fucking bear. Big bear with antlers bursts through the forest, roaring, and steps on a few
He's
Tau
my favorite
fireworks.
character.
Why am I not... I was waiting for you to jump in on that.
Like, he literally just steps on several fire warriors.
I needed to be tamed by a space wolf to be ridden in the battle. An entire sister chapter will be born.
Why don't we have some Kroot? Then we could have had Kroot Squigoths equivalent. That would have just been, amazing. Just, massive beast of war.
And the other thing that the story pointed out as well, that human reflexes are superior to Tau's.
Well, that's not... Well, actually, Tower Initiative 2 were back when initiative values were a thing, so that's no surprise.
Is it why they need aimbot in their rifles to actually shoot anything?
Pretty much.
I mean, they have guardsmen aim, let's be honest.
Nerds.
But yeah, back in 7th edition, they were initiative 2, so I can believe that they're slower than humans.
And physically weaker.
Yeah, you can't reflect that with a strength stat, but yeah.
Because it was mentioned that there was an Imperial Guard colonel having a duel with Shadowsun, and Shadowsun actually said if it wasn't for her armor, she would have no chance in a fight against an Imperial Guard colonel.
I mean, a guard colonel can beat your average Space Marine, probably. They're pretty good. Well, maybe not an average Space
Not
Marine.
physically.
Not in a physical...
skill.
In skill.
Skill maybe, but not with brute strength.
Not with brute strength, no. But yeah...
Unless it's Sergeant Harker, maybe.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I can see a guard colonel having the physical wherewithal and the mental nous to outdo a Chassot at close range. I mean, Shadowsun was exceptionally lucky to not die several times during the various build-up to what's it called? Mugalath Bay 2. She was killed, or her double was killed, and then she vaporized the chapter master from a suddenly ghost keel.
Was that when she thought the chapter master was the king of the Space Marines?
Plausibly. It was when she fought Corvin Severax.
Might have been that then.
It was back in the third. It was the third space. They'd already fought Space Marines at the Damocles Crusade, which I think she was in. But I doubt it. So this will be much later.
Fair enough.
To remember the Damocles Crusade, I think it was basically, from what I was able to be told, it was like, "Hey, we're Imperials. We're here to say screw you," and then to tell no, and then getting beat, and then the Imperials like, "Oh crap, there's other threats. Goodbye." Then to tell perfect, and then the Alpha strike them and pushed them all the way back in their own little thing. The Imperial's like, no, we can't do it. Space Marines, help! And the Space Marines just lose. I don't know why. They just lose. And then Tau keep fighting. Then the Tau are like, Tyranids! And then the Tau go away to fight Tyranids. The Imperials got their stuff back after they were freaking out, going, send more guardsmen. We don't know what to do. We have no more troops. They all went away to go fight something.
And then the Tau go... And then the Tau went, I wonder what would happen if we let this Genestealer infect some of our Earthcast. Let's find out. Oh no, there's a Genestealer Cult uprising.
Fucking Ethereals are stupid.
Yes.
Well, they
yes,
know
they
now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, in fairness, it's not as strange as that Genestealer Cult getting lost in the warp, then ending up in Nurgle's garden.
Fuck, everything's ended up in Nurgle's garden at this point.
I can imagine Nurgle's just sitting there with, a big table outside, with some, some tea and biscuits or something. It's like, oh, visitors, come, have a sit down. Take a load off. Who are you?
Have a sit down. I'll tell you about you know there.
Yeah,
it can't be worse than going to Fulgrim's part where you got Fat Grim.
I just actually going back to know. I can imagine like a spoilpox scriven. It's like, you're not on the guest list. What are you doing here? Oh, New Xeno. Okay, come on in. The grandfather will see you now.
Why is he German?
I don't know where I got the German accent from. Don't ask. I don't know.
I mean, is it going to be any weirder than when Mortarion went to Nurgle's garden for the first time and saw Kugaf, crying in his bath?
What?
Yeah, Mortarion just walks up to Kugaf and his face went, why are you crying? It's like, because I drank Nurgle's plague. It's like, okay. Why am I here? Oh, because you use sorcery. I wasn't using sorcery. Yes, you were. No, I wasn't. Yes, you were.
Primarchs.
You did it. You're a witch.
I mean, that's just basically Primarchs in a nutshell. Sorcery is bad, but we all kind of use it and we don't know it.
Then Kugaf basically ripped the skin and Mortarion's back and it turned into wings. And it's like, oh, by the way, here's your dad's soul. Have fun. And Mortarion's like, ooh,
what?
I hate that guy.
Oh, sorry, I got very confused and defaulted to the Emperor.
Not the Emperor, I meant his adoptive dad.
I was going to say, I got very confused for a second there.
And he had a butterfly. He had a butterfly net to capture it.
Is there any information about any other Primarchs coming out?
Manus is getting a short story in the Advent calendar, as is Guilliman. I
swear that story for Ferrus Manus is literally just this story from the Primarchs novel saying, Manus is getting a warning about the heresy. Will he heed it? Well, obviously not. But we already had that story in the Primarchs anthology.
Maybe instead of the heresy, it'll be his own death this time? Or it'll be a look into what his legion will become without him? I don't know. They could do something with it, I guess.
Maybe. I know Angron's got his Primarchs novel next, and apparently it's Conrad Kurz afterwards.
Yeah, that should be good.
It won't be his origins, though, because we already had that in Prince of Crows.
We did. Which is why ADB didn't write it. Is there anyone else that I can think of getting anything in the new era? I'm assuming that Vigilus Defiant will give us some more new era Guilliman information, considering, well, he authorized the primarization of Calgar, so...
We're going to have a Primaris Primarch. He's going to undergo the upgrade himself to make himself, supreme
made
Guilliman.
That joke 50 minutes ago.
He must have cut out for me then.
Never mind.
He's going to be Guilliman Prime. He's going to have the Matrix of Leadership.
Actually, I just want to check something with you, because this thing's been bugging me. Is there a reference on the fact that Guilliman doesn't /sees the Primaris as expendable, or is that just my own perception?
There was something that did say that outright. I can't remember the source off the top of my head, but that definitely was a thing when Primaris were first introduced.
And yet he's turned his number 2 into 1. Looking for an excuse to get him killed later?
I always suspect that he's seeing the value in use on how big of an upgrade being a Primaris Marine is, and seeing how well his captain has been, trying to hold things together so far. He's kind of like, you kind of probably need these upgrades. so you can keep doing a little bit better. That's what I suspect it is, but at the same time, I haven't read anything.
At the same time, considering the amount of time that Calgar and Guilliman have basically been at each other's throats, it's kind of like, well, here you go, I'll make you a Primaris then. It's a kind of a backhanded compliment in a way.
Also, I raise you Dante. You probably wouldn't know this, but like Guilliman, who sees Dante, like this is 1,500 years old, still a regular Marine Dante.
Older than Guilliman Dante.
Yeah, like, you owe me nothing. Get up. Like, you do not need to bow to me. I'm not going to make you into a Primaris. You don't need it. I know you're doing a lot, but you're a badass, as you were. You're
good at your job. You're competent. Calgar, on the other hand, fucking useless.
Guilliman and Calgar don't get on. And to be honest, though, what makes me so interested is, like, why is Calgar not in Ultramar? Like, I think it's in Wake the Dead. They talk about it a bit. But why does Calgar leave? Like, what reason is there for him to uproot himself from running Ultramar under the express orders of Guilliman, unless Guilliman's assumedly told him to? But in that case, who's running Ultramar? Ackerman? Tigurius?
A single servo skull.
Captain Felix? It wouldn't be Captain Felix, because that was basically his number one Primaris guy.
Surely, though, you need more than just a warrior like him. You need someone who's got statescraft. Something that Calgar, for all Guilliman didn't like him, had that the Primaris just don't because they've never had to learn it.
I don't know, maybe he's got Uriel Ventress doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I need to read Wake the Dead and Vigilus and the other one when it comes out.
In fairness, it might say in Plague War. I've not read it yet, so I can't say, but it might say it there.
Yeah, because Plague War's set at the end of the Indomitus as Guilliman goes home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what people have told me about that book, it's basically just there to tease a third book. Basically like, I am Mortar and I will fight you now, Guilliman, in the next book!
Wait, I assumed we were going to get the Ajax fight and then the aftermath in this.
Apparently. I'm just going by what people have told me so far. Again, I have to reiterate, I've not read it myself yet, but...
If you want the truth of the matter, tune into probably the next podcast, or the one after that, then you'll know.
Yeah, the one that's 60.
Well, no, because my next two books, I got Blackstone to read next week, and after that, I'm going to be doing Brothers of the Snake.
Okay. So look forward to that, I guess.
Just for the whole more Alpha Legion shenanigans things.
Yeah. So, actually, yeah, let's let Zoran back into the conversation, because I realise he's been a bit quiet.
I suck at lore. Hi, I'm Zoran. I don't read book. I play a video game that has book that read for me. You read much good.
And you set Space Marine world records.
Yes. I to set it up. Me and other people have been trying to speedrun Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, which a lot of you probably played. And one of the things I really got inspired by is that for speedrunners and everything else, because I was watching Awesome Games Done Quick, Awesome Games Done Quick and all that, like when I was first kind of starting, and been seeing it kind of grow and grow to what it is now. And I've always wanted to try it, but there's never really been a game that I've been super duper into. And I love playing Space Marine. Like, it's one of my, like, all-time favorite 40K games. Is all the Dawn of War people scream at the screen. Basically, I love and adore that game because of just how just well built it is. But we found a way to break it severely to where we can beat the game. Which now I set the thing for an hour and 40 minutes, which I still actually after this podcast I need to upload the run and everything. But an hour and 40 minutes, we were able to break the game completely and beat it. And
are we talking like sequence breaking, like mission skipping, or just
like skipping missions, like circulating parts of levels and everything else? Because one of the things you can do, which everyone can do, is very simple. You can also watch some of the videos that I made of me speedrunning it to get some of the tricks. Is that with the jump pack, you're able to just break levels if you go up a certain part, and it really kind of questions. Like, they had a lot of quality control people, just no, but some of the jump packs that you get, you really expect a player to go that way because they're just ready to go forward, the tunnel vision to go forward, or you're not supposed to have it in the level. And the first time where you get the break is the first time you get it. And there's a section in the game where you go through a tunnel, and normally there is a trigger that basically when you walk over it, you hit a trigger that activates an animation saying, hey, Titus needs to drop his jump pack because the next level you're not supposed to have it. And he goes, yes. I'm out of fuel all of a sudden. And then you go through. And what you do is that instead of going through the hole, you go a little bit to the right and you jump through a ceiling and you just skip the entire hole and you land on top of the tunnel on how it's modeled. And you wait till it says, hey, the content has now been saved. You restart the checkpoint and you're in the next level with the jump pack. And you just jump to an elevator. Then you jump out. And then you skip an entire level. You skip an entire cutscene. And you go straight to the train level. And when you get to the train level, you still have your jump pack. You jump over the entire train all the way to the end to the plasma cannon. Kill the boss. And you've just skipped entire levels.
Huh.
And it also, you do that, which before there was a case where you had to like fight a whole bunch of Chaos Marines and everything else. And I had to get real good at headshotting, like immediately get like flicking, like getting headshots constantly. As soon as something came up, get their head. And it's very finicky in that game to get headshots. You can not hit them and get a headshot, which is stupid. And thankfully recently, several people in my Discord found some new tricks to where I can skip at those entire sections sometimes. And I was like, well, yeah, I do skip them. And that saved me a lot of time and also got to the end boss where I could keep the jump pack. And that means with that and a Thunderhammer, I can
fight is so much easier if you could have a jump pack.
Yeah, and you can jump on top of the bubble that he made, which is basically just an invisible like square mesh that's over him. The bubble doesn't really have a mesh. And you just jump up and just keep ground pounding, and it kills everything. And I was very surprised that the Chaos Marines die in 2 ground pounds with that thing. I'm like, oh, this is easy. Just bam, bam, you're just hammering on this like chaos bubble and just killing everything that spawns. Like it spawns at like a little portal entry, basically, and they come out. If you keep hammering that, you get them all in your ground pound AoE. And when the big guys with the hammers come out, you activate Fury mode, immediately 2-shot them, and then you go straight to the boss fight, which you just do normally, and you win. And
yeah,
before, like the amount of dedication you got to do to kind of like constantly move fast, get all these tricks right, because there's like 2 tricks that can kind of make and break your run in that game, which is for speedruns always sucks. Because if those 2 didn't exist, I'd be able to consistently beat it a little bit faster by fine tuning it. And there's some where you have to get up onto a rock, catapult yourself on top of a platform that's like a little inch away, but you can't walk on it normally. You have to circumvent orcs and get in a very narrow path to get to a bridge that normally gets destroyed by an orc rock that comes down. And you have to do it just right, or else you will hear the rock coming down and destroying your run. And it sucks. But, thankfully, we were able to beat it. I'll upload it, and I'm really hoping if you yourself really love Space Marine, I really encourage people to beat my time.
Yeah, I think I'm not a huge fan of like glitch breaking games, like speedrunning games by actually like cutting corners and like fine tuning every fight. I'm quite cool with that. I'm not a huge fan of the glitchy stuff, but I give full credit for actually pulling it off. It's very impressive. And hey, we got to speak to someone who holds a world record until he or someone else assumedly beats it.
It's like if you don't mind, if I could tell some of the other names on other people in speedrun. There was some guy in Russia who beat my thing by 40 seconds. I was like, nah, that's not good enough, man. So then we just crushed it like 10. Let me see if I could find it. So, you can find all these records, by the way, on speedrun.com. It's pretty much where everyone categorizes all the speedrun records. I haven't uploaded my run yet. But, it was like 1 hour, 51 minutes by Finn Paramin, Nutter, who's been trying his best. His computer's not super great. He had it like 1 hour, 56. Then Gorbish, Sidewinder, and then Inko Nigdix, however you say his name. And then there's my second place there, which I'll replace it later. And, but yeah, I want more runners. If you're interested in speed running it, I'll try to put a VOD of my run on it so you can learn from it. And then I want people to trash my record. One, because I want to learn what you do so I can possibly do it faster. And I like having big speedrunning communities for this. So I really, really want people in on this. So, So I guess you guys have like a question segment, right? Or I can keep talking about video games.
Yeah, we've been banging on. Like, we've done an hour and a half of just chat, which is, I think, a new record. But I'm not complaining.
All right, so I can keep going with other 40k games that we can go through because I played through Fire Warrior and there's the Arma stuff, or we can just go straight to questions. It's up to you guys. I don't want to ruin your time.
Let's get a couple of questions in just so we get the best ones, because there's always some really good ones worth talking about in there. So let's do some questions, Ram.
Okie dokie. First question. How reliable is warp travel? In the Fantasy Flight games, we cannot go a single time without having a demonic incursion or major ship damage.
Warp travel... Also, did Dr. White chug the food colouring? Yes, he did. He's an idiot, but yes. Warp travel is consistently inconsistent, I think is probably the best way of putting it. Like, if your tech's right and stuff, you'll probably not have too much demon trouble, but it can go wrong at the drop of a hat. I think.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yep. Okay, next question. You guys mentioned about Genestealer Chaos cults becoming canon again. Can you elaborate? I can't find any info on this. Look in the 7th edition Genestealer Cult Codex about the Cult Tenebrous. That's the cult that went to the Garden of Nurgle and earned his blessing.
And hopefully the 8th edition Codex that comes out soon will have more.
Exactly. Do you think, with the recent revelations about all the Primarchs, that GW might be bringing a bunch of Loyalist Primarchs back, and is this possibly leading to Imperium Secundus becoming a thing again?
Fuck, I hope not.
Yeah, we don't really need any more Loyalist Primarchs coming back, with the possible exception of Lion, just because he gets a free pass for being confirmed as being alive.
Yeah.
Okay, Is there a Space Marine chapter that is rumoured or confirmed to have lost Primarch Gene Seed? No.
No.
They'll never come.
Although you raised an interesting point about Gene Seed on Twitter today, didn't you? About the Soul Drinkers.
Oh, yes. Yes. Basically, for those not in the know, the Soul Drinkers, a chapter said to be descended from Imperial Fists either in the 2nd or 3rd founding. It says both in the same novel series, so it's kind of iffy there. In the last Soul Drinkers novel, not Dynathoros, but the one before that, the actual novel, they were basically confirmed to not have Gene Seed of Rogel Dawn, yet during the War of the Beast, when the Imperial Fists got completely wiped out and the chapter was rebuilt again through all the Imperial Fist successor chapters, Soul Drinkers contributed their Gene Seed, but if they're not Rogel Dawn's kids, that means the Imperial Fists have 2 sets of Primarch Gene Seed in their ranks.
And have no idea about it and or have never noticed.
Yeah.
But that does tell us, therefore, that the Soul Drinkers can't be Blood Angel or Space Wolf descended, because their flaws would have shown up at least once by now.
Oh, yeah. But then again, why would you hide the identity if they were a Loyalist Primarch? That kind of has to say they're a traitor, or maybe one of the Lost Primarchs. A most likely traitor.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the Silver Skulls, though. It's like, you just don't really know for sure. Though it is odd that they didn't confirm it on the Phalanx at the time, or they just never got round to it.
Yeah.
Because the Fist gave them like a statue or something, is it, in their honour for their defence of the Phalanx. So obviously the Fists are not quite disowning them, even if they're not one of theirs.
I just got to have it in my mind that, Soul Drinkers, they're probably Fulgrim's kids or something. don't know why. They just are. Okay, next question. Are Cyberdong from TTS and Inquisitor Remleiz from the Order of Theoreticus the same person or related in any way? You need to ask Nost or Alpha from TTS about that.
No. I have no idea. I'm saying no because I don't think so.
I thought you were saying no, don't ask Alpha or Nost. Okay.
You can send him an email and he'll possibly get back to you.
I mean, Remleiz of the Quest for Knowledge series is almost certainly related to the one from TTS, though that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all the same person.
I'm saying nothing. I'm going to leave.
I'm
I'm going to leave it hanging.
I was going to say, because if the two are connected, then your character has a massive paradigm shift from one series to the other. That's a bit odd.
I'll do my best alpha impression of now, and then we can move on.
I thought it'd be just shouting about eggs.
Eggs!
Do you think Guilliman and Farsight will ever meet?
Meet? Maybe. But if that leads to an alliance question, no, it's not happening. I've done a video on it like a year ago. It's not happening.
No happening, eh?
No, it ain't happening. No chance. Long story short, Guilliman's a bit busy, and Farsight lives in a tiny pocket of a tiny pocket. Like, the odds are astronomical.
Okay, question from Michael.
Uh-oh.
Since Ferrus Manus is capable of catching and crushing a shot from a las cannon, would he be able to slap away every individual bullet from a 40k version of a machine gun, punch back the shot from a melter gun, and extinguish a flamer with a clap?
The bullet blocking, yes. The, what were the other two?
Melter gun.
Melter gun, that's... I don't think you can quite cover the radius, although I technically suppose putting your hand over the barrel would maybe absorb all of the heat energy, because bear in mind that crushing a light beam, the problem there is it's not physical. A melter beam is either a plasma blast or just a massive venting of heat energy.
No, it's a las cannon beam. That's not physical, it's light.
What? No. The light problem is because it's not a massive object that you can catch. A melter blast is... What is a melter blast made of? Anyway, if it's made of plasma or anything, plasma is a physical object. It can be affected by other objects. As for putting flames out, well, duh. You can do it with a fucking wet dish rag. Of course you could do it with living metal. There, you got a more competent answer than you're expecting, because I do a fucking science degree, bitches.
Nerd.
Yes.
Okay. What sort of bioforms do you think the Nids could make from Tau, Kroot, and Vespid DNA?
I mean, just give it to anyone who's good at drawing alien artwork and let them have it. I want
to see
idea.
a standing.
Well, considering the orcs, you got biovores, and with the Eldari, you got the zoanthrope. So what would imagine a Kroot one would be something akin to maybe like the Imgal Genestealer.
Kroot DNA is blank. Kroot DNA is blank.
Just very unstable genetic material.
I mean, you could probably do something with the Kroot like that. It's the adaptability they get from the Kroot. Because Kroot DNA, as I say, it's blank. That's the point. And Vespid, the Tau don't understand how the Vespid works, so who the fuck knows?
Flying Genestealers.
I mean, they already have gargoyles.
Okay. What do you guys think about the new Adeptus Titanicus box set?
Let's go. Won't play it.
That's the one with all the Titans and stuff, right? Or am I wrong?
You're right.
Okay. Yeah, I asked people who played it, and they said it was fun. And further on from that, it's all some of the models and everything. I think it's one of those things that I have a weird perspective when the Games Workshop keeps putting out different board games, which I understand they're a board game company still. They're not just a 40K shoving out plastic models. They still make board games. And as fun as it can be, every single time I see them put out something, I have no interest in it. The only ones I'm ever interested in is 40K and Kill Team. But it's every time I see any other board game they kind of make, I'm just kind of no, I'll probably would play that once or twice and stop.
Yeah, that's the problem with Titanicus. Blackstone Fortress is something that it's a dungeon crawler Warhammer Quest type game.
Yeah.
In either, and there's one in for iOS as well called Silver Tower. I could easily see myself playing the shit out of that, or playing it once and never touching it again. Same with Blood Bowl, same with everything. So it's like, I'm not willing to drop that 100-odd quid on Titanicus because I'll only like play it twice and then think, I don't care anymore.
Because it's like in comparison of other board games where if I have like $100 or whatever and I need to go over and I want to, that's my budget for a board game, 40K games are not going to be in my target range.
No.
Or even in any interest, because you also have to think of the people who you're with, what friends you have are going to be interested in it. Like, obviously with our kind of circle of folks on the internet, if we all kind of live locally, sure, it would be a lot more reasonable to buy it and have us play it. But for the vast majority of people who I talk to, they're not in the 40K. They're not into Warhammer stuff. So I'd rather be safe with buying something like Shadows over Camelot or even Star Wars Armada stuff even to go far stretches that. But those types of war games and everything else kind of aren't as attractive as something like, let's play Monopoly again for my normal family and stuff. Like they're going against that. And it's really, I think it's mostly going to get like a limited run only for the 40K fans and stuff like that who are super into it, and it just will never come back up again.
I mean, you could buy 40K Monopoly and then everybody wins.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, "What's a Genestealer?" Don't worry about that, Mom. Just play.
Good point.
But yeah, like, is there a 40K? Like, I know there's like a Munchkin thing. Is there a 40K Monopoly? Let's see. 40K. Monopoly.
Yep, that's a thing.
Dumpster fire. This looks like. Oh, good Lord. My Jesus cracking Christ on top of the Everest going down to the depths of hell. What happened here? What are those? Let's see. I like how the go to jail and parking's the same. They did like there's like all this like here's glory and here's fate and here's like the here's Titans for 350. Here's Holy Terra for 400, and then it's like go to jail. Is that like required by the license to always have that? Like,
I would assume so if that's the case.
Like you have like go to jail is like the Inquisition is holding you, or I mean I guess it's
Lost in the Warp or something.
Yeah, like it's like Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
I think we just created a new rant for Zoran, and I think we should.
I don't like it anymore. I'm insulted. I mean, I'll just play like Monopoly. It's just a theme. Like I'm giving it a hard time. But yeah, like if I'm ever gonna buy a board game for 40K, it better be universal as much as possible, or else I have no interest in it. Like I may be
someone needs to make it for tabletop sim.
Yeah, like I love tabletop sim. It's like the best stuff. Like, and recently, like just also can inform viewers and listeners and all that recently Games Workshop has been really cracking down on a lot of the like modding stuff and everything. And the complication for that is that if you mod and make your own stuff, you're good. If you mod and you took your stuff, you're not good. So a lot of the tabletop simulator stuff, in which we did a whole like 8th edition little tiny tournament on my side of the world, and there was an issue to where one guy wanted to join, but his army got deleted, so he didn't have an army anymore. So we couldn't really help him out. We felt super bad. Like, I wish I could help you, but we have no dedicated modders to this, so we can't really help you. So you got to pick another army, and he just couldn't play, and it was sad. But yeah, like tabletop sim is like a really good way that if you want to play 40K and you have no friends, I mean, you need friends to kind of play it, but you have no one local to play with. You don't have a hobby shop, which is a real thing. A lot of people think, oh, you better buy physical and play physical. You're an evil person. And it's like, if there is no physical way for you to play, this is a good option. But I still encourage people to go to their hobby shops and play. I personally will always choose that over tabletop sim.
Yeah.
Further on, what's another question? I'm sorry, we went on a thing.
Well, no, it's always good to have little like divergence questions. They're the most fun.
Yeah, I think given the time, I think we got time for maybe one or two more questions.
I think we've got time for two.
Okay. With the success of Castlevania on Netflix, do you think animation could be the answer to a 40K movie or TV series?
I Raise You the Ultramarines movie.
I think if they try and do a more traditional style, like, maybe 2D animation, like anime or something, I don't know. I think a 40k anime could work really well, in fairness. If you got the right studio behind it.
Yeah, it would have to depend on the director and the passion of the people working on it.
Of course.
Like, that's the biggest factor. Like, you can do it in 3D animation still, you can do it in 2D, real life action, and people have done some real life action stuff, which is really good, and some 3D animation, which is phenomenal. It's just, you gotta have the people willing to dive into it and actually have the drive to make it. And is there a possibility? Yeah, just Games Workshop just has to talk to a studio and actually want to put forth the money into it. But business-wise, you really have to think how well that's going to go. Because as popular for us that 40K is, like 40K still is one of the most popular kind of things for like hobbyists and certain like board gaming, like wargaming stuff. It is very popular in that realm. But you also have to think that is a bubble still. That is a social bubble that we are so in depth on that you also have to think of the average Joe who sees 40K. It would have to be used as a marketing thing to help their business at the same time.
And this is the thing. Like, I cannot tell any of my friends in good conscience to buy 40K because it is so niche and so expensive that, sure, I can tell them go watch an anime. If they put it out in an anime format, let's say arbitrarily, and they direct it well, and the community is kind of okay with it, cool. But I can tell my friends to do that, but that's not going to convert anyone into a customer, because what's stopping them buying it is not exposure to the setting, it's the cost of the game.
Yeah. That's been a general consensus every time I talk to somebody. It's like, hey, I'll teach you to play 40K. I got like some extra models you can try out so you don't have to buy anything and everything else, and let's try it. And then it gets to the point where it's like, it's too complicated, man. It's just way too much going on, or I really don't want to get into it because I don't want to have to paint all of it. I don't want to get into it because it's just too much money.
I think this is why some of the more board game-like games are probably a better entry. Things like, like Space Hulk, for example.
Yeah, Space Hulk, probably things like the Warhammer Quest games on both sides of the system.
Yeah.
You get a nice mix of models, a nice mix of story. You get a game that's understandable, but still has enough depth and flavor to be a Warhammer game. As much as you can rag on all these board games they put out, they're probably the best gateway to the games that GW can come up with, because, well, video games have helped.
Oh yeah.
But I guess it's way too expensive to go into the realm of TV and film. After all, the Ultramarines movie crashed and burned, and they wouldn't really want to try again.
That movie still confuses me, considering they felt it's like, oh, this squad of Ultramarines, this will be your first combat mission. It's like, hang on, you're a tactical squad. You should have had experience in this. You should have had experience in the Scouts and the Devastators and the Assault Companies before joining a tactical squad.
Yeah, it's just lazy writing.
And I think it was Dan Abnett who wrote this. Like, how did you get this so wrong, Dan?
Ooh.
I mean, how? I mean, I know people say, like, well, in the comics they experience, like, no, that's not an excuse. I should not have to buy, ancillary media to find out what the fuck's going on. For a standalone movie. For a standalone movie.
I was going to say, isn't that like the entirety of 40K's fluff? Is just ancillary media to understand the game?
I'm talking about for a standalone movie, it should be able to basically explain things to a sufficient enough degree without needing it. Because it's got to stand on its own merits as a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Long story short, yeah, it's possible. Message Games Workshop about it. It's all up to them at this point.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
And hopefully the right studio picks it up.
Yeah.
What's our other question?
Okay, our last question will be, do you think we will get the entire character range for every Legion in Horus Heresy and a Great Scouring series, as to have Demon Primarch rules and Chaos Marine marks, etc.?
One more time?
Basically, will we get the full character roster for the 30k legions, and will they expand the time period to the Great Scouring afterward to allow the Demon Primarchs to be in the game, etc.?
Oh, for tabletop and stuff? That question kind of confuses me. I'm assuming he's talking about the 30k game, right?
Yeah.
We assume so, yes.
Yeah. Has it ever been updated recently? I know they got like another Primarch and stuff, but I don't know. My perspective is weird. I don't know how
recently,
active that is.
Recently, for the character series, they got one for the Dark Mechanicum and one for the Sisters of Silence, named characters. There's the new Black Book coming out soon, which is around Cygnus Prime.
So Sanguinius, yay.
Yeah, so basically it's going to be Blood Angels and Demons mostly.
With a side of White Scars.
For some reason.
Yeah, so the game is still active, absolutely.
I'll say for some reason, some guy's probably like super excited, like, yeah, White Scars!
I mean, the reason why the game kind of went on a bit of a hiatus is because, unfortunately, because the death of Alan Bly, who was the main driving force behind it.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously everything just slowed down, just like, well, let's just calm ourselves a bit just out of respect,
And also have to work out what the heck he was going for and try and work it out so we could write it properly.
Yeah.
That as well, yeah, but...
So to answer the question, I don't think we're going to get Great Scouring. I don't. This is the Horus Heresy, the game. And it should stay that way. That's my opinion.
But I do think we'll get rules for Demon Primarchs who did become demons during the Heresy, so, Fulgrim,
yes.
Angron, Magnus, etc.
I can see there being Demon Primarch rules that are in the game, because that's allowed within the timeline of the Heresy, that they were demons first. It's the full character roster. The problem is, where do you stop? Because the Horus Heresy's Dramatis Personae is huge. It's massive. You can't literally make a model for everyone. Not even the lead characters of every single book can get a model.
Do you reckon we'll ever get tabletop rules for Malkador?
No.
Damn.
I like Shadrach Medusan more, to be honest, because he's so cool. Or Shadowsun or that lot.
No, won't get for Medusan because he did.
So's Armon. But he got one.
Yeah, but didn't Armon die, after the Great Scouring, though?
Yes, but that's not the...
But there you go.
That's not the point.
He didn't die in the Heresy.
Actually, is there a single character who... Actually, let's wait for Siege of Terror and see the death count before we decide, okay, did everyone who's got a model survive? Let's let the Heresy play out.
Oh, that reminds me, speaking of Siege of Terror, apparently ADB has confirmed that we finally learn of Sevatar's final fate during the Siege of Terror.
Yes! I actually asked him about that directly on the podcast that he was on, so it's like, yes, oh good, we're going to get a final answer.
Yay!
Ding.
Yay, books.
Yay, Sevatar.
Yay, books, go.
Alright, you don't have to be that sassy about it.
He's a space wolf, what do you expect?
Oh well.
Just trying to be part of the conversation. I'll read a book.
Now what we need to do, we need to get both Zoran and Zegrom on the podcast, but to be in character for the entire time.
Don't do that, Ez. Don't meme at me. I'll stab you in the throat.
I mean, for 5 minutes maybe, but not the whole episode.
Oh, yeah, not for
You
the whole
talk to my
thing.
agent.
I was thinking maybe for 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes maybe, but no more.
I mean, we can always get Kramer on here, have him do the entire podcast as Rogue Dawn.
Before we get to this.
Yeah.
Have we got time for one more, considering the time?
Yeah, flip it, one more.
Okay.
If you can find one.
Yes, let's have a quick look.
If anything else, I'll just complain about Fire Warrior for the next whatever.
You can do that if you want.
Yeah, just go for it.
Get the question first. I don't want that guy to get destroyed or whatever.
There's a few we've unfortunately missed because there's quite a lot today.
Wow. extended podcast, answer them all. But one thing that I wanted to bring up was I finally, for those of you, for the listeners and everything, if you remember Warhammer 40k Fire Warrior, which is an abomination in the game and should never come up in the conversation ever again unless you're part of a satanic cult, because it is the most horrible experience I've ever had, because they finally got it working on PC. I own the physical CD of Fire Warrior and tried to install it, everything else, and it would constantly crash. And it was a journey to get that game working over months. And apparently I was just missing files. There's incompatibility issues with Windows 10. I tried doing it on a virtual machine and it still crashed. And it's like, I don't know what the... And finally, I just looked over a random website, like, screw it, I'll just torrent it, and then I'll just get my thing and then take that torrent and put it on top of my files and just see if there's something I'm missing in my CD, in all the patch files that I got for the game. There has to be something missing. And it magically worked.
Dang.
And all through a stream, a whole bunch of people saw me just absolutely lose my freaking mind on how horribly designed this game is.
It did look quite awful from the footage I've seen of various people playing it.
It is. Let me put you in a scenario that made me angry, and I'll show you a Twitch clip of it too, because they captured my anger. That I was walking forward, and you get to fight normal Space Marines. You fight the Raptors. And they're pretty tough to take down, but if you bunny hop and frickin' pray for God, you'll eventually kill them. And eventually you'll fight Chaos Space Marines, because they always have to be in there. They are so annoying to fight. And there's a moment where you fight some of them that have rocket launchers, which can basically destroy you really quickly.
As you'd expect.
And they're really good at aiming. And I go down a hallway. It's very empty. I keep going. A Chaos Marine immediately teleports in front of me, and before he's even turned, because of how the AI is, he immediately fires at me 100% accuracy into my face. I jump around, freaking out, shooting at him, and he falls to the ground. I run back going, I'm like, I'm just mad. I go up for him. He gets back up and shoots me again and kills me. I'm like, oh no! I'm just angry. I am just so frustrated at Fire Warrior. And then I beat it. And then I tried to speedrun it, because you could speedrun it. There's only one guy who's got the record of it. I tried it, and I realized why there's only one record of that game. And I will never touch it again.
I mean, if it's any consolation, Thunder has like 3 copies of the game for some reason.
Yeah, and I invited him to, like, hey, for a fun video or whatever, because I want to eventually make like a long video essay of the game to you know, more elaborate on my anger of it. Then I wanted to invite him and several others, say, hey, here's the files. I don't care about whatever. Here, just let's play multiplayer, because you own the game. So we're going to play multiplayer, and we're going to see how horrible that is. Because obviously there's no servers, because the GameSpy is down and everything, so, and it doesn't exist. So I wanted to try that. And hopefully one day we'll have like a stream of me, Thunder, and various other people just being mad.
It could be the prologue for Lunchtime 3 or something.
Dude, no. we don't need to put the devil in that video series. It is too pure. That is, I would rather marathon that for an entire day than play Fire Warrior again.
For enough, you said you were going to want rather marathon Fire Warrior.
That's what I thought you meant.
But yeah,
you would rather marathon Fire Warrior than play Fire Warrior again.
And but yeah, you want to grab that one random question, or do you want to end it?
I think we should end it here, given the time.
Yeah. We're about to 2 hours, so right. If there's nothing further to raise, just before I sign off, anything quickly? Yes?
Nope.
I have like 3 hours more of content, but we can end it here.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
You don't want to be here that long.
No, mainly because I'll be hungry and tired by that point, and I'll not be very receptive to whatever. So, that, ladies, gentlemen, Xenos of all ages and everything in between, is episode 58 of Adeptus Podcastus.
You cut out on my end.
Same here.
We're recording our own audio so we wouldn't have this problem.
I know, but you cut out. So I'm like, is he done? Can I say my thing now? Is it all right? Regardless, I'm going to be really rude, so sorry.
I'm going to try again, then.
Okay. One more time. From the top. Come on. Come.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Fuck all of you. And that is episode 58 of Adeptus Podcastus. And we do hope you have enjoyed it as long-form chatty as it was. If you did, then, or if you didn't or whatever, then let us know what you think in the comments below, because that's always fun. And make sure to leave us your questions, whether we answered them before or you're answering them again or whatever. Let us with the word question in the comments below, and we will happily try and answer them next time. But for now, thank you very much for watching. This has been Tactica Imperialis.
This has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This has been ZoranTheBear from The Thing.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and goodbye.
Goodbye.